listening to The Burn. Gaming stuff, blazing fast.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of The Burn, a podcast about gaming done blazing fast. I'm Aviv Manoach.
And I am Omer Kaplan. Hey, hi, happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday indeed, although I was on vacation all week. Well, technically I was off. I wasn't on vacation. Apparently, something I only understood when I started working with non-Hebrew speaking people. A vacation is going somewhere. It's not staying in your house, not working.
I mean, there's always a staycation.
Yes, but that's amalgamation. But in Hebrew, when you say you're taking time off, it's the same word as the holiday, it's the same word as vacation. It's all the same words. You say chofesh and you're off. And it doesn't matter what type of things you're doing. But when you work with English-speaking people, there is a different thing when it's an holiday. Holiday is only either religious or national type of thing. And vacation is going somewhere. And time off can be the umbrella term. So I took a week off.
Okay. It's all a matter of what are people's expectations once you come back. So, sometimes they expect vacation stories. If it's time off, it's they assume it's personal, so nobody questions you. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah. So I was off. How are things going in your area with the heat wave?
So I think we got the fringes of it. So we had two. Okay, let's put heat wave in perspective. Okay, when we say heat wave over here, at least. We're talking about, let's say, 33 to 37 Celsius. Okay. It's hot.
Yeah, but parts of Canada got 50. I don't even get 50, and I live in the worst part of Israel.
Exactly. So, if you put it in perspective to where you live, you've been through worse. And it's hot, but it's not as humid. So you just get raw heat. So I don't know. I
had a week of 40 plus, but that's standard for summer months here.
Exactly. And honestly, I barely felt it. So so we had a couple of days of that, 2-3 days, and then yesterday and the day before it was raining all day long. So it was kind of hot, but it was raining. So I was it's fine.
Okay, weird weather.
Yeah, but I have some friends in New York and they live in the city, so it's kind of weird because they have huge amount of heat coming from the ground, the whole subway system and all the heat coming from below and the heat coming from above. So you get baked, if you live in the city, you just get baked.
That doesn't sound very nice.
Yeah. So yeah,
speaking of things getting hot, have a new computer.
Oh, nice. So, but I would hope that it has a decent cooling system.
It has a decent cooling system, but the new motherboard and the BIOS controls the fans dynamically. So once I load up Unreal Engine or any game or stuff, it boosts the fans to high amount of rotations, revolutions. And the computer sounds like a jet engine. When it's normal operation, you don't hear it at all. But when you fire up something heavy, it gets kind of loud. But it's fine. No worries.
Nice. So so there's a lot of gaming in your future, coding or
I mostly upgraded it for game development. Which right now we are doing the final project for the first year of Masters. Yesterday I had a whole day of presentation, so we presented one project in physical interfaces, tangible interfaces. And I'll put links to the videos we built, me and my partners. We built like escape the room, Artemis type of things where there are two boards for two players, and each board has different controls, and you need to figure out what controls does what in order to fulfill the missions. And
Interesting.
it turned out really well.
Awesome.
Really happy with it. Both the presentation of it wasn't too pretty, but it wasn't horrible. And everything. I probably did nothing. I hate physical interfaces. It's really not my thing. But I helped with game design, and I recorded the voices and did some auto-tune in order to make it sound like a distorted radio communication coming from space, stuff like that. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing was the big thing. We had two classes this semester that had one project between them. It was Games for Social Innovation, that together with game development methodologies. So we used the methodologies to create the project for the Game for Social Innovation. And the focus was local. So we needed to create a game that had to do with something in like the Israeli space. And I really didn't care for it. Like, I don't have anything that I want to want to do for Israel. But my partner is vegan, so he took that, and we decided to do like a thing for the Israeli Independence Day, because like the same as in the US, it's a big barbecue holiday.
Yes.
So we did like we started with a type of farming simulator, but we got to the point where the scope was too loud, so we had to cut it. And what we got to eventually was a type of walking experience type of thing, sort of going home thing, a few minutes long, not too long. And I like it. I think we did a great job. At times it was so frustrating, but something came out of it. Like we made a project from beginning to end with everything in it, and that's kind of awesome, I think.
Oh yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. When I think about something local, I would like to hear it's something like a new take on the, remember the Falafel King game where you have to like just create like a lot of like falafel dishes like really fast.
Yeah.
So something like that, just a new take on that. I just miss the Israeli food. I don't know.
One group did a really cool thing with a game about post-traumatic stress regarding sirens.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's a thing.
It likes a visual novel point and click things about young woman from Sderot that like you explore how the sirens affect her. So that's really local. Another group did a sort of a hidden object game regarding like family roots, about people that migrated to like exploring a family that migrated to Israel and the generations and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things you can do with local content. It just doesn't inspire me from a game design perspective. The reason I really like our cow project to begin with was because we imagined it as a management game, and as all of the listeners know, I really like management game, and in the end it wasn't that, but I did other things like I designed the environment and stuff. So
yeah, it's good experience though. So
yeah. So those are my things from this week. I also had a COVID scare, which shouldn't have been a COVID scare, because okay, what happened? I drove to meet my friends from the Tangible Interfaces project, because we plan to work on it. And for me, it's like a 2-hour drive to get to them. And after an hour and a half, I'm going down from the fast lane, and I get a call that previous Friday we celebrated my grandma's birthday, and one of my cousins, little girl, she's 6, she got COVID. She's COVID positive. She got it from a substitute teacher that came from a vacation abroad or something. And so her grandmother, like my aunt, so it's second cousin, whatever, she works for the Israeli health ministry, and she told us all to like stay inside and get tested. So I turn my car around and go home. But then when I get home, I start to read the actual instruction from the Ministry of Health. And I realize that there are no instructions for people that are vaccinated to isolate and get tested. So we didn't need to do anything. It was just a false scare. But still, like I didn't want to chance like meeting with my friend. They both have small children and stuff, so
yeah, it makes sense.
So that was my week. I drove one day to get my computer. I drove another day and turned around because of COVID, and then I went to present my project. So most of the week I was on the road.
Yeah, sounds like a very productive time off.
I don't really like driving all that time. I do listen to a lot of podcasts while doing so, but still, like, it also costs a bunch of money. Like, I spend at least half my car's gas tank every time for every one of those drives, because I live like far away from central Israel. Every drive is at least an hour, 2 hours, 100+ kilometers. In US terms, it's nothing, but for us, it's still.
Yeah, it's really a matter of habit. Like, I had to drive to IKEA this morning and like to buy stuff, and it was literally like it's almost an hour drive. But I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I kind of used to it.
Almost an hour drive. It's a short drive.
Yes, exactly.
For me to get to one of the IKEAs, I think the closest one, which is near Haifa, is at least an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah. All right, so you want to talk about video games a little bit?
Yes, that's what we do here. And before we start to talk about video games, we'll remind you that in each episode of this show, we talk about games we played and liked or disliked. And then some news, and you can find all the episodes on the website, theburn.live, as well as the links to subscribe to the podcast. So that's it. And now we'll talk about the game of the show, which is Gunfire Reborn, which Omer played.
Yeah. So what a nice game. I didn't know anything about the game prior. I saw it so it's an early access game still. I saw it on the Steam. Okay, I never buy any. Okay, so I'm kind of like dissonancy here. I never buy anything from the Steam recommendations up until I think a couple of weeks ago when they recommended this game. It was an early access game, and I was in the mood for a shooter. I finished Borderlands 3. I wasn't in the mood for something like really heavy, like Doom Eternal, or like something that's like super challenging. So I saw this game. Looking cute, good reviews. It like in the title they said it's a combination of a shooter and a roguelike and RPG. I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. I saw there's a couple of like characters you can choose. I was like, cool. It wasn't super pricey. I think I picked it up for less than $10. I was like, let me just double check that. Yeah, so it's right now it's on sale for like $9.50. Pick up this game, and it's like super cool. Really scratches that itch that I had for like a nice challenging shooter that isn't like taking itself too seriously. So here's how it goes. Basically, you navigate through a roguelike kind of like set of levels where every few levels you have a boss that you need to kill, and then this is how you get to the end of the game. Long story short. However, when you start the game, you have only one character you can select, which is for lack of a better term, it's a samurai cat with a gun. Okay, so the game, all the main characters in the game are animals, basically. So you choose the cat. Every character has a special ability, and then a grenade, and then basically no weapons or a basic weapon. You go in with the cat, start going through. It's kind of like a structure. I think it's self-generated to an extent. So I've seen the same layout of the same level multiple times. So I guess it's maybe randomly generated. It has its constraints. You go in. Every level you face a different set of enemies, but I mean you learn their patterns really fast. So the easy ones just like walk at you and they're very weak, and then there's some enemies that have grenades. Some enemies are charging the weapon, they shoot at you and they deal a lot of damage. And it's really kind of like a roguelike experience in a sense of there isn't much healing or shielding. So you have a set shield and you have some health bar, but you don't have a lot of resources in game to replenish those. So the shield slowly regenerates, your health is pretty much permanent, so you have to watch those. And you start off with your basic weapon, and then you go through certain stages and this game's pretty easy, and then you die because the enemy is getting too strong for you. So you start over again, and so that's kind of like the roguelike mechanic. As you kill enemies, you pick up soul shards or soul points. You pick up their souls. You pick up some souls. And using those souls between games, you can buy passive abilities, you can buy improvements. So, you can buy improvements for your special ability, improvements for your grenades, improvement for your basic damage, improvement for your health, so depending on the style you like to play. And then you go in again. And when you go in again, you start to notice some stuff that is... It's not a Castlevania style where there's areas that you can't reach, but some stuff on each level is locked away. So for example, you're going into a level, there's a hole in the wall. So you click the thing and it says, well, in order to access this hole in the wall, you need to have this special ability to unlock later using the souls of the enemies. Mm-hmm. Or you have a special chest.
So it is Metroidvania. Why are you claiming it's not?
Because it's not necessary for you to get into those areas to finish the level. So when you get to the hole in the wall, after you get the special ability, it will just get you into a special room that you can earn a special ability or something to serve you in that session specifically. So you can go through a whole level without actually getting into those special rooms. So it's kind of like a nice side quest you can go through if you want.
Okay, I get you. It's not. Yeah, it's not interfering with progression.
No. So
I want to say something from watching the screenshots and GIFs on the store page.
Yes.
This is an FPS.
Yes.
4-player co-op. Where
it could be. So I played both the co-op and solo. It's easier than the
has co-op capabilities. And is cel-shaded. This is basically roguelite Borderlands.
Yes. Outside, so no open world. There's a set progression, and
no, that's fine. That's why it's a roguelike Borderlands and not the RPG Borderlands. We have the RPG Borderlands. It's a different game. It's Borderlands.
But there's something to it. Another thing that's really similar to Borderlands, in a way, is that during your, when you go through the level, enemies drop random weapons that you can pick up. Now, every weapon has a certain ammo type and a certain damage type, so,
So it's a roguelike looter shooter.
Kinda, sorta. So you don't keep the weapons between sessions, obviously.
Yes, that's the roguelike part.
You can get lucky and get a poison weapon, which is automatic. So very much like Borderlands, there's types of weapons, and then the components kind of mix and match. Another thing that's pretty cool, so when you finish a section that doesn't have a boss, you can pick up a trait. So you get to choose between like three traits. So, for example, you finish a level and it says all poison damage is now increased by 20%, or your dash is now longer, or you get like 2% health. I mean, and then you get to like customize it, by the weapon you chose or by your playstyle, and then you get through the game. I finished the first boss. It was super hard, and now I'm kind of like I'm getting like pretty easy through the first boss, and now I'm kind of like on the second phase of the game. I think there's like 4 bosses all the way through, and the only thing that sucks is that, and I think they can tweak it over time, is that in order to unlock more characters, you need to like progress, like grind, basically, like get more souls.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing because everyone starts with the same character, and it's a co-op game. So at the beginning, if you and all your friends get the game, you all play with the same character at the beginning. That sounds a bit boring.
Yes, and also you have the same like special ability. So
yes, exactly.
And like, I mean, the cat is like pretty robust. It's kind of like a generic shooting thingy. But like my playstyle, for example, is more melee in your face, and your playstyle may be more like range. So why can't I like pick the melee character right off the bat and like progress with that character?
Right.
And not like, why am I constrained to the cat? So I get it why the cat is a good character for tutorials, but I kind of like the melee dude. And it's kind of funny because I picked up the game, I think same day or one day after the new Dungeons and Dragons game came out.
Dark Alliance.
Yeah. So I think they're both pretty similar in the same vein. It's just like, they're pretty different, but like the Dark Alliance let you choose your archetype of character like right
yeah,
off the bat.
But so far I heard pretty mediocre things about Dark Alliance.
I know. I think fast forward a couple months, I think it's gonna be on sale. Like if you want the art, by the way, if you want the true RPG, like what Dark Alliance should have been but isn't right now, pick up Warhammer Vermintide 2.
Right.
It's like such an amazing game. I have like all that like good thoughts about that game.
2 last points about Gunfire Reborn. First of all, again, I'm looking at the screenshot, and one thing that really pops at me is that the levels are kind of empty.
I don't think it's like, I don't think it's really. The screenshot doesn't do like this game good service. So maybe I'll put in the show notes.
I also remember I watched it on Twitch and stuff, and I kind of remember that the level design it's kind of empty.
I think it's because it's maybe like self-generated to an extent. So the levels themselves are basically like mini rooms or sometimes like big rooms, and like enemies just like jump out of the ceiling or teleport in or teleport behind you, which kind of sucks, by the way. But yeah, I think just because it's like randomly generated, I think there's like some component of like you get into a big room and it's like have like few enemies in it.
I don't mean about the enemies. I mean about the environment design itself. It seems like you get into this desert area and there is pretty much nothing there beside a few rocks and dunes. And it's not like there aren't any examples of randomly generated levels in games which have a lot of details in them. So that's the one thing that pops out at me. And the last thing, did you play Void Bastards?
I did not. I saw all the screenshot. I watched all the videos, but yeah, I mean, it's.
So I imagine
it's in the same vein.
Yeah, it's pretty much in the same vein. All Void Bastards is a sci-fi game, also cel shaded graphics, roguelike. Shooter, that's the thing. It was in Humble a few months ago, whatever. I have it on my library to play sometime. On what platform are you playing Gunfire?
Just PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's if you're looking for a shooter roguelite experience with some passive talent, some progression, unlockable characters, it has more grind than I expected. I think that can be easily tweaked. But the experience,
I would. It's $12. I would wait for it to either leave early access or get some more major patches or something.
yeah, I mean, I think patches will mess around with. I think the core gameplay is pretty much set. I don't see them like improving that. I think like patches would maybe add more characters, obviously, because that's the main progression thing. And potentially maybe even paid characters, because I saw that they're experimenting with different means of unlocking characters. So some of them are unlockable through progression, some of them through souls, some of them through levels in a certain character. So there are some ways that they're experimenting with. Maybe some numbers and tweaks that they'll change, but I think the core gameplay is pretty set. So I mean, at least
the core
here,
gameplay
it's,
is fine. I'm more looking for like content improvements and stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe more levels, more bosses, more weapons.
Exactly.
I think that's gonna be. But I mean, like let's say for $12, I think you'll get your 12 hours of. I mean, if you like there's a lot of like replay value, obviously, because it's kind of like a roguelite. So if you're a fan of the graphics, fan of a game that doesn't take itself too seriously and good gunplay, very solid gunplay, then it's fine. I mean, I played co-op, but the thing is, right now, maybe it's because there's not a lot of people in the game. I got matched with like really high level people, and that's because I'm good. I think that's just because like they threw a noob in there. So I got matched with really high level people, and they just rush through the levels, and I don't get to shoot anything. So I mean, that could be improved, obviously, but the more people get it, the better it is. It's cool. I enjoyed it. Not like the game of the year for me, but a super fun experience. Like if you want to play like a weekend long and then just like get on with your life, I think it's pretty cool experience to have.
Cool, excellent. Let's do some news. Not a lot to talk about after everything died down post E3. Genshin Impact, a game we've talked about before and played and stuff. When I played it, I was like, okay, this game has potential and stuff, but obviously, they released it I won't say they released it in an incomplete state because that's not true. It just
that's pretty polished.
Yeah, it's very polished. They released a part of a larger game they plan to unveil over years, pretty much. Because the whole system is that there are 7 different elements and your main character can get superpowers depending on the region you are in, and the game launched with only the air and earth powers. Since then, as far as I know, they added the fire one. I don't remember. They added another region in one of the patches. And the game is pretty huge as it is, and it just gets a lot larger with each patch. And then there was a leak, I think, 2 hours ago,
Nice.
according to the time we're recording this. So, and the leak is about the 2.0 patch, which is a bit different than the previous patches. If they kept using the same numbering system, this should have been 1.7, but it's turns out, at least according to the leak, it's supposed to be 2.0. Another new region, apparently new and special things. We don't know the exact details, but it's supposed to be pretty big update since they're calling it the 2.0 update. So that game is going to get better.
I'm excited. Like this game is already good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't give it much like enough attention, but I mean it's. I'm thinking about it very often.
I'd probably given it more attention if the PlayStation controls would have been better.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Like I only played it with like mouse and keyboard, but yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not specifically the mouse and keyboard. It's the whole menus layout and stuff.
That's a
that in the PlayStation they are just terrible. And then there was news that I actually saw on Twitter, and I found the article about. So id Software talked about Doom Eternal continuous development. Apparently, they are continuing to add things to this game for some reason. People are playing it, and they are adding new multiple things and stuff. And they posted like a message on Twitter about the status of the development and some hiccups they had and stuff like that. And what they decided was to cancel an update they announced before called Invasion Mode and releasing Horde Mode instead. Something that will be of a smaller scope. That's the point. Like, the thing about this news is less about the actual content and more about how, at least with it and this release, they are taking a more transparent and communicative approach, sharing. Not only like announcing, yeah, we're doing this, but actually posting like 100-word explanation of what's happening and why it's happening, and communicating with their community in a way that not a lot of companies do right now, especially the big companies. Like indie do this all the time, but big companies tend to only communicate with their communities where there are bad things to announce. Like Cyberpunk,
Yes.
which now whenever we see that not orange, yellow background posts from CD Projekt Red, we know that something bad is going to happen.
Yes.
So seeing those type of messages coming in for more positive thing, well, it's a cancellation, right? It's we are scraping something and turning it into something else because we have less resources or we want to make a smaller scope. So you can argue it's a negative, but in this context, it's more of a positive message.
Yeah, and I mean, at least it's like at least it's transparent, and at least like we're not getting a product that the company that created the product isn't like fully in line or behind. So that just like shows. Maybe, right? Maybe it just shows where the balance of kind of like interest lies within the company. So, it's not, we have to push this thing regardless because people are expecting it and marketing and stuff. It's just, we want to put something that's going to be as well received as we can get it. Mm-hmm. So let's prioritize accordingly. So, I mean,
exactly.
Exactly. It sounds like, any decent company would have done.
Yes. Okay, we need to finish up. Quickly go over your last item.
Yeah, last item. Okay, so I, basically, every month I review the Stadia Games of the Month, and one thing just jumped at me is that they are, in July, you'll be able to play Rainbow Six Siege on Stadia. And the interesting thing for me is that this is the first time that I noticed, outside of Destiny, that they're implementing a game on Stadia, which is a multiplayer, very FPS based, very timing oriented, with accurate shooter experience within Stadia. I'm very interested to know how this experience is going to go, because if it goes well, this can open the door for like more competitive shooter games on that platform.
But most people think Stadia is dead.
I mean, we went over it like in like great detail. I think
I know,
as long as it's
since then I heard a bunch of people talking about it, and for them Stadia is a done thing. It's dead. It was a flop. Nobody uses it, and if most people thinks that, then how much of a chance does it really have?
I mean, we don't have the numbers. I'm pretty sure. I don't know how the world of like cloud gaming's work is at like right now. I don't know. I think as long as Stadia serves its purpose for like Google the company, as a proof of concept to get people into the ecosystem of like their cloud ecosystem, then I think it's like as long as it has a business purpose, it'll live on in some capacity. Because like I agree with you. I'm not sure just by public sentiment, right?
Right.
I don't think the market I don't know if the market demand or traction is going that way. But I mean, with Google, it can easily change, right? If you buy a couple of like Super Bowl ads, get marketing, and get like people behind it, then it'll get traction. Fine. I think they need like a couple of like business cases to show value to the larger organization to make sure that they get people, like interested. And the moment it stopped getting value for the Google Cloud business, that's the moment this service slowly would just like stagnate.
Yeah, as I said
So
before, it's not about the service, about the technology.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes, but that's it. We don't have any time. We are over
All right,
time.
we're done.
Actually.
Yes.
Yes.
This
That's all
yeah.
we have on the show today. Thank you for listening. You can find us online on Twitter. I'm at Icel and Omer is at Omer Kaplan. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, comment, and leave your reviews on your preferred listening app. And our opening theme was created by Endoko and with vocals by Fishy Twitch, also on Twitter. Thank you, Omer.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Till next time. See ya.